All right, we're back with another food truck here. We're on Jekyll Island right now. This is called the Hideout. We're gonna go check them out, see what it's like being a food truck owner. We got another one. All right. Yeah, what's up, man? So this is the owner of Hideout.
My name is James Buchanan. As he said, I'm the owner of Hideout over here on the beautiful Jekyll Island. And I've been running for about 3 months now. Every day gets a little better. I'm looking forward to a good busy season. One thing about here is obviously tourists, so in the winter months it does slow down. That's one thing, even as any food trailer, I imagine you want to look for and be aware of is if you do going to have tourists, you can make a lot of money, but when they're not here, you won't make a lot of money.
Definitely an up and a down for sure. All right, what size is your trailer here?
My trailer is 16 by 8, and it's a pretty good size. You want to come in and check it out?
Yeah, sure. So we in here.
Yeah, so this is really the trailer. This is an 8 by 16. For reference, I'm 6'2", and this is plenty of height space. It's pretty wide. I have some wider counters in here. The widest thing I have is definitely my grill. Sorry, it's a little dirty.
Oh, you're good.
I've been using it today. For me, I focus on fresh ingredients. So I'm focused on the fridge mainly.
What came with the truck?
So when I got the truck, the only thing that I had was my fryer, my flat top, and my two stoves right here, and obviously the hood system and the fire suppression. Well, I also had this down here. The sinks and the hand sink, and the AC unit was actually in this one as well. Everything else I put on myself. But if you're really focusing on heavy foods though, I would suggest 2 fryers. 1 fryer is definitely not a lot if you get up with a bunch of orders.
The learning process for sure.
Steps.
Yeah.
It's EcoFlow Delta Ultra, big fancy name for a big ass battery pack. With this, if it's fully charged and I'm running everything, even if you include the AC, I can get about 6 hours of work time and about an hour on the front end and an hour on the back end of cleaning and or prep. Overall, it does what I need it to do. And if you do end up needing more power, if this is something you're interested in, it is a little bit expensive, but it'll last a while. You don't have to put gas in it. You usually just charge it at your base and you're good to go.
How expensive we talking?
This is $5,000 for this one.
Okay.
But this also was a requirement to be on Jekyll because you can't have a generator that produces a bunch of noise. So
right.
If you go into the events or anything like that, they're noise restricted. This is always an option. Like I said, it is expensive. And the power, the level of usefulness as far as time varies. If it's super hot, the fridge might have to kick on. You might lose 30 minutes. But they do make essentially an extra whole battery pack right there that you can stack on. And if you had that, I imagine you could run for 14, 15 hours, no problem.
Damn.
And then you can also get solar panels and plug right into this guy, and it'll charge it as it goes. So
oh, wow.
You can have solar panels on top of your thing, and that'll keep it charging while you're using it as well.
Good.
But yeah, overall, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's pretty solid.
9 out of 10. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I mean, listen, we're talking right now.
I feel like you're just hearing the fan up there.
Literally just a fan. I mean, this thing is quiet. You've heard my generator. Y'all know. All right.
Realistically, how this started out was a need that I saw that needed to be filled, especially over on Jekyll Island, especially at the north end. There's not a lot of cheap, convenient food. It's a lot of more higher priced stuff or only open for dinner.
Pros of owning the food truck.
I feel like a pro is obviously your stereotypical answer. I am my own boss.
Right.
You can't really be mad at that. The other pros is you get a little more creativity of your own. But I guess that also comes back to being your own boss. But don't get me wrong, being your own boss is not easy, especially with a food truck. Because if you don't put in the hours, you don't show up, you don't do the things like that, people stop coming to you, you'll fall behind. You got to make sure you're doing your social post, everything like that. There's a fair amount of downsides, but I mean, the being your own boss is without a doubt the best part.
What's some advice you could give to someone who is trying to start a food truck?
Whatever you think it's going to cost, add some extra money on the back end. Little things pop up, and some of those little things are expensive. For me, I had to get a backflow and valve put on at my base. That was a quick $1,000. It's just little things you don't think of. It's not always super cheap to start a food trailer, especially if you want to do it right. But it also is much cheaper than an actual restaurant by far. And it provides you a little more flexibility. So the advice, just make sure you have a little extra cash. Keep your menu as simple as possible. Like, look for items that you can include in a bunch of different items, so that way you're not filling up your limited storage space with stuff that you only have for one item on your menu. And that's really how it got started.
All right, you guys, that was Jamie over at the Hideout on Jekyll. You heard what he said. Main thing was make sure you always have enough funds when it comes to setting up a food truck, because you can always run into something. Us, it's a little harder because we're mobile. We have to move around. I like what he said with take one item on your menu and use it in multiple ways. That way you limit your costs. Very smart. We're going to get back to shaking it up, baby.